to consistently look different.
We got several winnable games left.
It's just Xavier just.
I'm trying not to get excited.
I think that anyone who's been in this room the last few years and has endured what has happened,
It's a new year, but yes.
you just can't help but to feel at least a little bit better.
Yes.
God knows we've seen a lot of that.
Beauty of the transfer portal.
It is. It is. I think even if you look at college basketball, college football, I think at the beginning of it, it was 5 of the 12 starting quarterbacks were transfers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's kind of the world we live in now.
It's such an important position now, so.
You know?
You believe? It's the kind of game I've seen him lose a dozen times in the past couple weeks.
More than that, bro. A decade.
Yes.
Huh?
You know where Rich sits?
Yeah.
And go diagonal.
They are tall. Yeah.
Equivalent on the
I can
other
take a
side.
photo.
Across the
Okay.
court.
Yes, behind the Georgetown bench. When he works it.
Looking for Marcus. Preston.
I will grab that from you in just 1 second.
Preston was in the bump.
He was with me.
Are those top
That's why we
sheets
were
or is
looking
that
for
the
you.
book?
We're like, so.
Just top sheets. We will get more top sheets coming for you guys. Thank you.
You know which players?
I don't yet.
Thanks.
I'm good. I usually get things smothered so well.
You want one?
Love the smell of toner in the evening.
You, I can. Did you get that? That was good enough for 11 pounds.
Oh shit, I love that. Max shot was that? Or key shot. What's up?
Oh, this thing is so
Sensitive as hell.
Yeah.
I said 26. I ain't even-
someone can grab cups.
Check again to see if they have cups.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Okay. You just gonna be broke, cuz.
And then you can hit you.
Huh.
And it's not gonna hit you.
Exactly.
Because you can buy all the clothes you want. It's just when you encourage them and coach them in his game. So I mean, you can buy all the stars. He just mad, like I said, for the 25 packs. And 5 stars.
You got 'em.
Give me some.
Is it just water?
Oh,
Or do they have players?
Can you help me grab the other two?
Yeah.
The boy versus Kane.
Yeah, it is.
I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
That's like a dude
yeah.
thing.
But y'all got
Fine.
time.
I can fill out the three other ones.
Pistol Kane.
You know, I think sometimes, especially in conference play, you know, the emotions of a win and loss can really move you far one direction or the other. And you don't oftentimes see it clearly right after the game. But I think that number one thing that I want to make sure that I'm really clear about is, I think Georgetown is a much improved team. And, looking at their defense is one of the best in our league, if not the best in our league right now. And I really felt that tonight. Me as a coach, I had a hard time helping our team generate good shots. They're really good guarding the ball one-on-one. Very seldom did they get broken down off the dribble. And, Thomas Sorber, for such a young player, he has a great feel for himself. Like defensively, he's not one of those young guys that's talented who doesn't know what he's doing. He has a know-how in all phases of the game that makes him better than a freshman. So he's like an all-conference player. But I just think their defense was physical, outstanding. We had a hard time getting shots. I thought we made a pretty good run in the second half at them, but when we did, and they needed stops coming out after timeouts and different things, they got the stop. They really did. I thought, again, I was really impressed with their defense. And I also was really impressed with Micah Peavy and Malik Mack. I mean, if you look at those two guys, with Epps being injured, and they got 41 points on us. And two guys got 41. We didn't have an answer for either of them. And then even with Sorber getting 12, I thought we did a pretty good job guarding him. He wasn't the big difference in the game. It was those other two guys, and they beat us. They really did. Their defense and Mack and Peavy, and I know both those guys, terrific additions. Malik being at Harvard a year ago, and obviously Micah being at TCU. They came in and they're really elevating Georgetown from where they would have been a year ago. Those two guys are really good players. So I tip my hat to Georgetown. They were ready for the game. They were physical. They were more physical. They played hard. They rebounded. Their team defense was outstanding. And really, that's to me the biggest point I want to make about the game.
Sean, when you mentioned Malik, obviously with the game he had, that was probably the best game he's had so far this season. What was different about him tonight than maybe what you'd seen?
Well, sometimes what happens when Jaden Epps doesn't play, his role changes and he has more volume, balls in his hands more, shoots more. They need him to do it more, and clearly he's capable. So that happens. We've experienced that as well. But I would say that was the biggest thing, we were trying hard. I thought at times he created a great advantage for himself in terms of one-on-one play and made a couple tough twos.
Hey, Coach, it seemed like, I know you said you were running some stuff on offense that you didn't feel like work, but it seemed like in the second half, anytime Georgetown switched, you were able to get Fremantle in the post and you exploited that. Were you going to that purposely, or that's just kind of how things played out?
We went to it. Zach is good in the low post, and look, I really want to credit Zach. He's been out for 21 days. There was a period of time where we weren't sure he was going to be able to play basketball for us again. Might have been out for the season. We didn't know. He didn't know. It's remarkable just watching him overcome these different obstacles that are in his way. And unfortunately for him, it just seems like every year he's had one or two major ones. But look, he came in, he got 16 points and 7 rebounds tonight, after not really doing a whole lot. He's practiced about 3 or 4 times. So I think that's a great sign for us. I'm happy for him, and he did a good job. But, look, we were better in the second half than we were in the first. We had 39 points in the second half. We had 24 in the first half. We didn't score, I don't think, for about the first 5-6 minutes of the game. I mean, at the beginning of the game, the tone was set with their defense, and we really struggled to get good shots. I have to do a better job of helping our guys. And clearly, the one thing about this league, and I made this remark to our team after the game, this is the wrong conference to play in if you're soft. Just is. If you're going to beg for fouls and the rebounding part of something isn't that rebounding aspect of the game is something you're uncomfortable with, it's just tough. You need to transfer. You need to find an easier league, because the physicality and the toughness in this league has been in place since 1980. That's not going to change. And you have to raise your level. We have to raise our level in some of those toughness plays. Run hard, play hard, loose ball, blockouts, rebound. And, to be able to do a better job in that area. I thought Georgetown was the better team in that very coveted area in tonight's game. They were. If you're watching it as a fan, you officiated the game, coached the game, played in the game. Which one of the two teams was more physical? Georgetown.
And would you have liked to, were you comfortable with the pace? Would you have liked to have seen this game a little bit more on the open floor and a little bit faster?
A little bit. I mean, we have to be a little bit smarter with our pace. Our depth isn't what, we want it to be. And, especially Zach Fremantle coming back off of an injury. And, I thought that, there were times when we got in the open court, especially in the second half, we had plays at the rim, and we didn't deliver. Like we didn't make the layup. We didn't score the ball. We didn't make the shot. And when those opportunities present itself, especially in a game like tonight, you have to come away with something. When we did score in transition, when we did get into the open court and good things happened, I thought that favored us, and that's a big reason why the second half was 39-39, But look, I'm not sure how much time was on the clock. We came out of a timeout, maybe 58-57, down the home stretch. We had a one-on-one drive. Didn't get a foul or score. They defended it, and then from that point on, they kind of put us away. But again, on the road in this environment, playing against Georgetown, you got to be able to score the ball there. Got to be able to score the ball there.
One last question. Fremantle's known as a gorilla. He goes hard. He bangs people, but he's a really crafty player. And he showed a lot of that against Sorver with the three-quarters, the fronting at the right time. How good is that to have in your back pocket? A veteran big who was a gorilla but knows how to play.
Yeah, I mean, Zach is very physical. He's smart. He's tough. And I think it's remarkable. I worried a little bit about his return to play tonight because it's very difficult to do. He was in a really good rhythm and a part of everything we did. And then all of a sudden, you're kind of the odd man out for 3 weeks. That first game, you could see where he's a little rusty or needs jitters. And maybe he was at times, but I thought he did really well. I mean, he helped us. He was a winning player. He was one of the best players on our team tonight. And I think Zach deserves a lot of credit for being able to fight through this last one. And I hope it's his last one. I hope for his sake, for our sake, that he can remain with us from now all the way to the end. He deserves it. And but as you watch him play, he's a very good player, no doubt. Mm.
That's when they brought that big boy in.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, he was throwing him around, bro. They tried to rough him. What is that?
He was just like,
He's a big dude with large strength.
that's the one that was supposed to be.
That's the one.
Yeah, the swing.
They always have to do it like that. A big guard, wing guy. What's the name? Just made a right decision.
This phone was no one shit. It was probably you been blinking at that thing.
Think about it.
Oh, don't be here for.
All right, everyone set? We'll let head coach Ed Cooley open with an opening statement.
You know, that was a great Big East game. Georgetown is continuing to get better. You know, we thought we were going to have Epps. He just couldn't do it. You know, I just appreciated his fight to try to help us. But that's why that 17 all-in means a lot to us, right? Everybody has value. Everybody has a piece. And you know, I thought we beat a very good team. I thought we beat a tournament team. When you look at Xavier's last 4 or 5 games, right down to the wire in each and every one. Each and every one. I thought we were physical. I thought we were tough. I thought we were connected. I thought we were edgy. You know, I thought we had great leadership from these two gentlemen right here. And I thought the silent heroes of the game was a freshman and a sophomore. Caleb and Drew Fielder played great, right? They did a lot of the little things that are not on the scorecard. And these guys did all the heavy lifting, but they did little things that go to winning. I'm just proud of our group. I'm proud of our toughness, very, very proud of our discipline, right? We turned the ball over a couple of times really late. We had a couple of pick sixes, but we didn't lose our composure. And that talked about growth. That really, really talked about growth. And again, in the Big East, you got to try to win your home games as much as you can, right? We're in the middle of this. We're in the beginning of this gauntlet of a schedule, right? This is our first of 4 games in 12 days. So, you know, we're a little banged up. We got to get some guys rested. And then we get on the road and obviously go play, in my opinion, a top 2 or 3 team in the country in Marquette. And I think they are as good as anybody in the country in the Final Four contender. But today, proud of our men. We grew up today. We really, really grew up today. And I couldn't be more proud of these guys that are at the dais with us.
Ed, the defense in particular, when you were able to force them into half-court situations rather than transition, just what did you feel like went right there, and how well did you execute what you wanted to do with that end?
Well, you know, our staff did a great job preparing the men this week, right? We had a week off. I think they're as good as anybody that we've played against in my career in transition since Sean has been there. They do a great job. They have multiple ball handlers, multiple decision makers, and we just wanted to go helmet on helmet, body on body, and it was urgency. And that's where I thought our team grew up. They took a scouting report, brought it to the game, and executed a game plan. And we tried to be as much 5-on-5 as you can. As you know, it's hard to score body to body. Pros have a tough time scoring body to body. So again, uncontested shots go in. Contested shots, most of the time you're going to find yourself in a good situation to get a rebound.
With Jaden out, how much did Malik's assertiveness on offense make a difference for you guys?
That's why he's here. This was hopefully a aha moment from him, setting the table. Like I told him, he has to be the chef, the maitre d', the door opener, the door closer, right? He's got to score it, pass it, defend, right? But you know what? That's what his role is. That's what his job is. And then PV is the Army Swiss. Again, elite defensively, right? We really challenged him to rebound, which I'm really proud. Double-double, my dude, right? Really challenged him. Again, I thought our men were dialed into little things, really dialed in, and again, really, really proud. Not having Jaden out there is tough, right? I mean, you lose your leading scorer. And to play like that, to play edgy like that, and everybody that got in did a great job.
And Malik, how did you feel like you were able to handle that situation? Obviously, you have played without Jaden in the past, at least a game. But how did you feel like against this level of competition? You know, what was kind of on your plate?
Yeah, I just knew I kind of had to step up today with Jaden being out, and then trusting my teammates, just seeing what the other team was doing, and I felt like I was getting good looks. So it was a day to score.
Hey, Coach. Multiple times, Coach Miller, who was in here before you, mentioned the level of physicality that you guys played with throughout the game. Was that the level of physicality that you would like to see from this team throughout the Big East season, where an opposing coach comes in here and must set physicality at least 12 to 15 times?
I still think the Big East is the soul of college basketball. And that's the brand that Georgetown wants to play. We said from day one, toughness travels, physicality travels, discipline travels, and I thought our team over the last month is demonstrating that defensively, our alertness, but the physicality of the game, toughness travels. Play with your chest, play with your feet, play angles, be disruptive, right? You know, it wasn't so much our offensive execution, it was our defensive execution that helped us with this win. And again, I think Xavier's really good, really, really good, right? They've had some really, really tough losses, right? And again, Sean is one of my best friends in the world. We've been fortunate to coach USA basketball together. We won a couple of gold medals together. So we're pretty familiar with each other's style. When you look at probably the last 3 or 4 or 5 games we've coached against one another, for the most part, it comes down to the last minute of the game, right? It's a chess match, and, you know, sometimes you're fortunate and win, and sometimes you're unfortunate. But I have all the respect in the world for Sean Miller and that staff. I think they do a great job, and I believe at the end of the day they'll be a tournament team.
And Malik, you drove the ball. I know you hit your threes, but you throw the ball to the front of the rim several times today. Talk about just how you've learned to use your size to an advantage where they see this little guard coming in, but you still finish over top.
Yeah, I know I can shoot the ball, so they got a guard up on me, and then I know I'm quick as well. So if I feel like I can get a step, I try to beat him to the rim. Coach wanted me to play off 2 feet more. I feel like I ain't do that good today, but I was able to finish at the rim on shots that I worked on. So.
And Micah, Conwell, that's their top 3-point shooter. He came in here playing well, fouled him out. He did not have the game we expect. Just talk about taking on the challenge as a team defensively to really take him out of his comfort zones.
During our scouting, we said how good of a 3-point shooting team they were, and Conwell was their leader, leading 3-point shooting. So we just keyed in on him and tried to make everything tough, try to make him take 2s instead of 3s. So, yeah, we just keyed in on him and try to make him take tough shots.
Coach Mike Gray, Hoyer Report. What was your message, and also the team as well as message to Jordan Burks after this game like this?
You know, stay with it, right? You never know when your number's called. I thought his energy, I thought his athleticism and length was disruptive at the rim. He went up, got a couple of really, really big rebounds, all right? And again, when you're trying to move 14 new players and put them in their strength, in the strength of individual success toward team success, it's a lot of moving parts, and those that buy into it fast and really embrace their role are the ones who have the greatest opportunity to get playing time. And I think he really did that over the last week, so I'm really proud of him.
Peavy, you and Sorber had an animated discussion going into a late timeout. He wanted the ball, basically. How do you think you guys fed him the ball? How well did you think you guys fed him the ball today?
I think we tried to feed him the ball a lot today. I mean, Sorber's a really good player, so they try to double him every time. So, like I said, we try to give it to him every time, and Thomas is my brother, so, you know, we're gonna have heated arguments like that. But after the game, we hug. That's my dude. So it was nothing.
It's just like at Christmas and in New Year's Eve and Thanksgiving. You're at the table, somebody's getting cussed out, right? Somebody's getting yelled at. By the end of the day, you say Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Easter, and you hug. I like that. That tells me there's care. But also, Thomas is at the top of a scouting report. They're not just going to let this 19-year-old come in when you're playing against Fremantle all-league player, right? I mean, those guys are big physical guys. So they took the challenge to him. And you know, Thomas did a really good job with his composure, right? Made the 2 free throws when we needed it late in the game. But again, he is a high-level player who's going to have a lot of attention. So again, the backside of the defense was right there, and that's what he was talking about. So I got your back on that, bro. I got your back on that, right? Everybody else, I'm pretty sure y'all would have turned that shit over too.
Mac, recount that. It was a short roll to Thomas, really good execution, maybe like in the last minute and a half or whatever. What did you see? How did you execute it?
Just try to read. I'm trying to read the pick and roll. Sometimes looking for the pocket pass or whatever. They was in the drop, so I kind of just got to the mid-range, and I seen Tommy out the corner of my eye rolling hard, and I trust him every time, so I threw the pass to him, and he finished.
Coach, you touched on it, but Xavier and Creighton, those Big East schools, they're great and veteran teams. How do you think a team filled with freshmen and sophomores and guide them to play so maturely on both offense and defense?
I give our staff a lot of credit, right? We work really hard to talk about chemistry, love, care, share for one another, make it about the unit, make it about the group. You got to get, you know, the we, never me mentality. And again, we may be young, but we have some talented, tough young men who have a will and a want to try to get better. Our goal is to try to get better each and every game, and I thought we really, really grew up today. If I rewind this back to West Virginia, I don't know what the date was. Again, we lost that game, but man, I thought that was a pivotal game. I thought we were tough. I thought we connected. We just didn't make enough shots late, and they did. But I thought we really grew up that day, and it's really showed its head today. So again, if you can get everybody to love, care, and share, and think about the overall team versus me, you're going to find yourself in a good spot.
Thank you. And Micah, how did you guys at the mid-range be the best way to manipulate a physical defense like Xavier's today?
Like Sway said, they're in drop coverage, so that mid-range is always there. So I mean, I feel like I'm a good mid-range shooter. So every time I can get it, I'm gonna take it.
Thank you.
Coach, your bench did not make a single field goal today. Obviously, it didn't cost you, but are you concerned going forward that like you're either running out of players or running out of healthy players or anything like that?
I didn't even realize that. You know, when I looked at I'll look at the stat sheet a little bit more. I didn't realize that at all, right? Obviously, you know, you shorten your rotation if guys are rolling a little bit, right? Hopefully it doesn't come to hurt us. I don't think we're running out of players. I mean, we are banged up a little bit. But if we could win a game and not score off the bench and defend that way, the guys that came off the bench did a great job defending. I think Burks had 3 free throws, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so he was on the bench and came off and had 3 points. And if we can do that and get in arguments and miss a couple of free throws and still win, that tells me we're getting better. So I didn't even realize that, but I think when opportunity knocks again, those guys will come in and make some plays. And I think Curtis also made a free throw, if I'm not mistaken. So it wasn't a complete, zero, but we did get contributions. Sometimes it's not in the scoring column. It's what we do defensively. If our identity is toughness and defense, Georgetown's going to find himself in a lot of game. And all I ask our guys every single day, get us to that 4-minute timeout, plus or minus 1, and we're going to be in a winning column more often than not. That's where I trust our staff and our preparation.
Micah, Caleb, similar size to you. He's rebounding like a demon as a freshman. Did you see this coming as a guy that's kind of mentored him a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, every day we battled in the summer, and that was one thing. He's hard to keep off the glass. So, he made me better boxing guys out. But, yeah, I saw it coming for sure. What do you have, 5 offensive rebounds today? It's crazy. So, yeah, he's doing his –
He has 4 more offensive rebounds than his
He's doing his job very well, and, yeah.
Malik, 20 of your 26 came after halftime, including 3 threes, and you guys as a team had not connected from outside the arc in the first half. What do you feel you were able to take advantage of in the second half?
Just playing through the offense, taking my opportunities to make a play, and I felt like I was open on certain shots, and I know I can make certain shots because that's what I work on. So just reading the defense and having a feel for the game, reading the game, and knowing where I can get my shots off at or where I can find my teammates. And today was just a day where I can get my shots off.
He's being really modest.
And the Musketeers came into this evening the best 3-point shooting team in the Big East. You guys hold them to 1 for 10 in the first half, 5 of 19 throughout. What was the focus? What was the execution tonight?
That's all the players and concentrating on what the game plan was. Right, try to be 5-on-5 as much as we can. Try to take away transition. They got 15 points in transition. I think 10 of those may have come off of turnovers. But he's being really modest. He said, "Coach, get me the goddamn ball." and when you're delivering like that, because we see it, right? That's what preparation does, and I'm really proud of him. Right? He was doing the offense, but he wanted the ball, so I was really proud of him.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Congrats, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.